The neighborhood Sawmill Creek in Pearl River lies northeast of Chalmette, separated by a 60-mile drive. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, dozens of displaced residents from St. Bernard Parish settled here. 20 years later, they have recreated a community.
Neighbors of Sawmill Creek, I want to thank you all so much for coming out to share your story.
Sawmill Creek is a microcosm of the diaspora caused by Hurricane Katrina. The neighbors, who gathered at Tony Colombo's home, found community and shared experiences and common roots in Chalmette. Some went to high school together or attended the same church. None knew each other directly until fate brought them together.
This is my house right here. You can see marsh grass on the roof and everything. My house is completely flooded, and people wasn't going back. So we decided that we wasn't going back either.
Tony Colombo is a fourth-generation resident of St. Bernard Parish. Katrina scattered his extended family, including his children and his grandchildren, who resettled in other cities.
Can't say I don't miss St. Bernard. I do.
I love living here. I miss Chalmette, but it's not the same over there. It's not the same. And the reason I picked here, I want to find a place that it don't flood.
John and Jacqueline Mondello had just finished remodeling their home in Chalmette. Katrina drowned his home in 16 feet of water.
I never had a chance to even say I wanted to go back to Chalmette. It wouldn't let me because of my house was destroyed. If you look at that picture real close, you can't fix that. I've been blessed to given an opportunity to rebuild at my age at that time. So, and everybody here in this subdivision is fantastic. You know, it's like coming home, except not being in Chalmette.
Jody Campo worked as an RN at Chalmette Medical Center. He lost his home while struggling to save lives.
People were dying. We put them on the roof so they can get some air. All of us nurses were carrying people from the bottom floor to the top floor to fly them out. And they all didn't make it, but we did the best we could. From all that, I flew on a Chinook and got up way in the air, and as far as I could see, there was water.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration estimates that the storm caused $125 billion in damage. That's about $200 billion in today's dollars, making it the costliest disaster in American history.
We came home. There is no home. It's gray, it's dark. It's like spooky, there's nothing green.
Hurricane Katrina displaced families whose roots in St. Bernard stretched back for generations. According to the 2000 U.S. Census, the parish had approximately 67,000 residents, reflecting its role as a growing New Orleans suburb. By 2020, the census counted about 44,000 people, marking a 35% population decline since Katrina.
My whole family was in Chalmette, and everybody was displaced. My mother was the oldest of 15, and all her brothers and sisters lived there. More than half of them went to Baton Rouge. It was awful because we were just such a close family, and then they were not here.
Barbara was the first former resident of Chalmette to move into Sawmill Creek.
We went back to our house, which was about a month later. We had 12 feet of water. It was, like Jody said, gray. When we walked in, that day that they let everybody in, all the neighbors came. I was feeling so sorry for myself. And there were all my neighbors, and they had gone through the same thing. You couldn't feel sorry for yourself.
It was unparalleled in American history, this sort of mass movement of so many people so quickly. And it was a truly kind of astounding event.
Dr. Michael Martin is the head of the Department of History, Philosophy, and Geography at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
It certainly shifted population within the state. Immediately, Baton Rouge became the largest city in the state.
Do you know 100,000 people moved to Baton Rouge in a weekend? Do you understand that impact to Baton Rouge?
According to the U.S. Census, between 2000 and 2020, the Baton Rouge region's population increased by 44%, gaining over 267,000 residents. Hurricane Katrina accelerated this growth when Baton Rouge absorbed tens of thousands of displaced residents from the New Orleans area.
Katrina was really more of an accelerator and in many ways kind of a one-time shift that moved us much further down a long-term trend of brain drain and challenges in growing the population, growing the economy. It was absolutely a huge shock in terms of population loss, but it also kind of accelerated and revealed some of the underlying trends in a new way that we've wrestled with ever since.
In its final hours before approaching landfall, Katrina took a turn to the east and made landfall as a Category 3 storm, downgraded from its originally forecasted Category 5 strength. Louisiana thought it dodged a bullet, but then the levees broke. 53 levee breaches, a massive failure of the federal levee system.
We were high-fiving, somewhat celebrating. And then a few hours later, the flooding started, and then all hell broke loose.
The storm directly impacted 930 schools and more than 480,000 students and teachers. Many didn't have homes or schools to return to.
We opened up the schools in November 18 because we had all refineries and people came back and they had no place for their kids to go. St. Bernard, every house but one was devastated by the storm.
Sandra worked for the St. Bernard Parish School Board and was living in Araby when Katrina hit. She has since settled in Slidell.
They cleaned up one of the schools, which was Shelman High School, and they put up portable trailers. It was preschool through 12.
Whether it was K-12 education, higher education, employment, everything was dismantled. People were really hurting, and there was so much trauma.
Dr. Kim Hunter-Reed, current Commissioner of Higher Education, served as the Deputy Chief of Staff for Louisiana Governor Kathleen Blanco when Hurricane Katrina hit.
Institutions were opening their doors, labeling our students as visiting scholars, and said, we don't care if you don't have a transcript, you don't have an application fee, come, be a part of our schools, and then we'll send you back when your school is ready. So this idea that we were going to help ourselves and help each other, no matter what, I think that is also a legacy in humanity and how we support each other.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, Louisiana's higher education system implemented need-based aid to make education more accessible, building on former Governor Kathleen Blanco's belief that education is the path to prosperity. Online classes are now integral to the state's educational infrastructure. Louisiana exists in a perpetual state of recovery from a succession of storms, including Hurricane Rita on the heels of Katrina, Laura, Ida, Francine, and the Great Flood of 2016.
I'm teaching a Katrina at 20 class here at UL in the fall, and I'm realizing that a lot of my students do not have that reference point.
Liz Skilton is an associate professor of history at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. She wrote a book about hurricane naming practices and researches how people understand, talk about, and remember storms.
It was the largest diaspora in American history in terms of the number of people that end up in all 50 states of the United States, and the first major national disaster in the terms of federal support and funding that comes afterwards. And I think 20 years is this kind of perfect moment at this moment to really start to think about that long-term impact.
Hurricane Katrina was a defining moment for Louisiana, reshaping state policy, the environment, culture, and community in ways few could have ever imagined. For the generation born in its aftermath, the storm altered the course of many lives. Sawmill Creek reflects Louisianians' deep bonds to family and community, a rootedness hard to replicate, but not impossible.
I love it here. I feel safe. And my daughter has since passed, but this community here is like Chalmette. It's Chalmette.
Signing off.
Thank you.
You're welcome.